Rain poured softly over the old streets of Florence, washing the cobblestones in a golden reflection of streetlights. Inside a small art gallery tucked between two cafes, Elena Rossi stood before a half-finished painting, her brush trembling slightly. She had been painting for months, trying to capture something she couldn't name, a feeling that refused to take shape. That's when he walked in. Adrian Cole, a quiet British photographer exploring Italy for a magazine piece, entered the gallery by chance, or destiny. His camera hung loosely around his neck, his eyes drawn immediately to her unfinished canvas. "May I?" he asked, pointing to the painting. Elena nodded without looking up. "It's beautiful," he murmured, studying it carefully. "But it looks like it's waiting for someone." Her brush froze. "Maybe it is," she whispered. They spoke for hours that evening, surrounded by colors and the smell of wet paint. He told her about the way he captured light through his lens, she told him about her obsession with painting emotions she couldn't express. Before leaving, he asked if he could photograph her while she painted, to capture the art of creation, he said. The next morning, he returned, and the first photograph he took was not of her canvas, but of her face when she smiled. Days turned into weeks. Every morning, Adrian came to the gallery, camera in hand, while Elena painted. They spoke little, yet everything unspoken hung in the air between brushstrokes and shutter clicks. One afternoon, as golden light spilled through the windows, she asked, "Do you ever fall in love with what you capture?" He smiled softly. "Always. But sometimes, the art loves you back." That evening, they walked by the river Arno. The city glowed with lanterns. He confessed he would soon leave for London, his assignment was ending. Silence stretched between them like the space between two paintings that almost touch but never do. Elena looked at him, her heart trembling. "Then let me paint you before you go." For 3 nights, she painted his portrait, not just his face, but his presence. The way he looked at her, the shadow of longing in his eyes. She painted until dawn, and when it was done, she realized she hadn't painted Adrian. She had painted love itself. On his final day, he saw the portrait and said quietly, "You've painted what I could never photograph." They stood close, too close, and when she leaned forward, he kissed her forehead instead of her lips. A kiss that said everything. Months passed. The gallery was emptier now. Adrian's letters came from London, each one describing new photographs, new cities, but always ending with, "Tell me, is the painting still there?" Elena never replied. She had no words. Instead, she painted again, not portraits, but memories. Her brush told stories of moments they never lived, a dance under moonlight, a kiss in the rain, a life that could have been. Then, one spring morning, she received a package. Inside was a framed photograph, her, painting at the gallery, light falling perfectly across her face. On the back, in Adrian's handwriting, it read, "You were my favorite masterpiece." Tears blurred her vision. She walked to the river, photograph in hand, and watched the sunlight ripple across the water. That evening, the gallery hosted an exhibition, The Art of Love. Paintings of longing, silence, and beauty filled the walls. And at the center hung the portrait of Adrian, surrounded by the photos he once took of her. Visitors whispered about the intimacy of the collection, the unseen connection between the painter and the photographer. When the lights dimmed, Elena stood alone in front of the portrait. "We never needed forever," she murmured. "Just a moment that could last through art." Outside, rain began to fall again, soft, tender, eternal.